Hey guys, welcome to another special episode of MP Talk, where we talk about the multiplayer games that we like, perhaps even dislike. And we're doing things a little differently this time. We're streaming it live. I'm going to be actually playing while we record this. I have with me today four in total, but three of my fellow MP Firsters. We have Denny, aka Pikey. How's it going, man?
It's going great.
Oh, that sounded... Oh, okay. We'll talk about your problems later. And Jimmy,
right.
or James, aka Nitro Wolf, how are you doing, sir?
Pretty good.
Nice. And last but not least, Sergeant Mofo, whose real name is Tom.
Guten Tag, my Canadian brother.
Guten
How are you
Tag.
doing?
Fantastic, fantastic.
Excellent.
Not even German.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
I know German people. Come on, man. That's close.
Yeah,
enough.
me too. Me too.
You want
So,
trophy?
we're dedicating this podcast mainly to Destiny. We're also going to talk a little bit about our first impressions on Advanced Warfare. I'm going to be playing Destiny while we talk about it, so hopefully things go rather smoothly. Again, like I said, this is sort of a test, and if it works well, we're going to keep doing it this way, and we're going to eventually get readers involved in asking questions while we live stream our podcast. So we're doing it live. That's as he said that. So yeah. Destiny has been out for 2 months now, just about 2 months. Exactly 2 months. It's November 9. Look at that.
Right on the inverse.
Yeah, right on the inverse. So I guess the easy question to talk about is, what are your guys' thoughts on Destiny 2 months later? I want you to give me sort of two answers, right? Just your thoughts on it, and are you still even playing it right now? So... let's go with that. I'll go last. So why don't we start with you, Denny?
Okay. Well, to answer your question of if I'm playing it or not, I used my once in a lifetime courtesy refunds from Microsoft to get my money back because I did not stand the game, and then I bought Call of Duty Advanced Warfare with that money. I thought the game was not good. There's so much left to be improved, and kind of the fact that they are charging a lot to like improve the game is ridiculous to me, because I feel like expansions at this point should be free for Destiny specifically. Like I'm all good with paid DLC, but when it comes to Destiny, it's just like that expansion should be like part of the game, free update kind of thing. Because the game just lacks content.
Especially with the lack of content, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... I just don't understand how Bungie even thought, after they made Halo, how they even thought that there was a good idea to, like, release Destiny in the way it was. Right.
Well, I mean, there's the whole... how did it all pan out? There's obviously a huge thing about it. Was this once a really content-filled game that was going to launch, but then, Activision maybe was like, whoa, hold on, guys, we gotta like release 4 of these games here, so we gotta, we're gonna have to shift some things around and cut some stuff from this game so that it, so we have content for 3 other Destiny games. So yeah, I don't know who was it.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it just kind of feels like, Bungie was that developer that was like, fuck the man, they were about. They're about doing things differently, like different than anyone else across the board, and they really proved that with Halo,
You did a whole article on that.
Yeah, and leading up to Destiny, I was like really hyped because I was like, this is fucking Bungie, and I did the research and I was like, these guys just sound absolutely amazing, like they're ready to do what they want to do, and then they announced exclusives for PlayStation for a whole entire year. And then they also announced that,
oh shit, Zer's gone.
There was some content cut, from... Because, I mean, you could tell from the trailers from E3 up until the game that there was, part of the story cut. Or at least they redid
and stuff.
Yeah. And it's just...
Or Vidocs, I don't know.
it just kind of feels like maybe money got in the way or something like that, or they're like under a new direction where it's kind of just like this isn't how they're supposed to be operated. Because I mean,
Yep.
with the guy who composed the Halo music, since he left,
Marty
he
O'Donnell, is that his
Marty
name?
O'Donnell, yeah.
Yep, he got fired, and that seemed like, I don't know, that seemed like the first hint that it's not like Bungie anymore.
Yeah, no idea what happened there. Jimmy, are you still playing it?
Nope.
Okay, but you still have it, right? You didn't you didn't sell it, right? Okay.
I still have it because I'm sharing the season pass with a buddy, so
okay.
Gonna see how the DLC pans out. But I mean, it's a huge disappointment. I wasn't expecting the multiplayer to be that big or anything.
Okay.
I mean, they did make Halo, but I wasn't expecting anything to rival it.
Right.
I was expecting the single player though to be something, at least in terms of size, Mass Effect. You know,
oh man, you stole my words. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And like Denny said, I mean, like going back and looking at some of the trailers, you can tell they cut content, especially with like the Queen's brother, how he's just like a complete dick to you now in the game.
He's a totally different voice actor too.
I think that was for the better. I didn't like his voice before. Yeah. But I mean, they had background for him for why he's like that towards you. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't know. I'm disappointed in Bungie.
That scene in particular or the couple scenes I should say with them almost serves as like a segue. Like they're going to be back in the DLC, whatever episode 1 or episode 2 you're going to be going back, because apparently, spoiler alert, you're supposed to be you apparently owe them for them revealing a location, but it just seems like the way that whole that was the most in-depth cutscene, one of the most in-depth cutscenes in terms of character development, sadly, which is pretty pathetic to be honest, because it's not that in-depth, but they're definitely going to be it's almost like you can guarantee that they're going to be either in the first set of DLC or the second DLC. You're going to be going back there.
Right. Is that your thoughts on it? Are you still playing it, Tom?
No. As of I've stopped playing for about 14 to 17 days. It's kind of weird. My whole experience has been kind of strange. First with the reviews and stuff, the way I was reading into it, I felt some critics were a little too harsh. I felt initially remember reading some of these scores, and I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I think they're just being harsh just to kind of create a controversy. But I would say at the beginning of the game, I probably had have given the game either a 9 or a 10. Just because I was so enamored with the technology, with how the tower works, and there's 12 other people, and it's like, oh man, it feels like an interconnected hub, and you're playing with everybody else, and you're going through each planet, and you're kind of thinking, okay, this story's gonna get better, okay, this story's gonna get better, okay, this story's gonna get better, and you get to the end of it, and you're kind of just like, okay, that was the story, I guess, and there really wasn't much to it, which was quite a surprise, because the way they were advertising it and the way they were hyping it up, we've already mentioned Mass Effect, but again, this is supposed to be the new intergalactic epic that Bungie is making, and they're trying to create this whole new canon that you're supposed to be completely enveloped with, completely enamored with. And honestly, I don't want to play a single story mission ever again, and unfortunately. As I've played with as the 2 months have progressed, obviously this is the 2-month anniversary launch that we're on. The daily missions where you have to keep going back and playing one of the story missions, it could have worked if those story missions were actually exciting, but there's so many variables in terms of just uninteresting AI, particularly like the Vex enemies, like the goblins. The bosses are pretty uninspiring. They're pretty much giant versions of regular enemies for the most part. And it just seems like they lost their way. I don't want to be like MP First Investigates and we're talking about DLC and what content was cut and stuff like that. But it definitely seems like their initial vision of what what they wanted to do, for whatever reason, they couldn't fully fulfill it. And the more I play, the more I just begin to loathe the game. Booting it up, playing a story mission that I have no interest in playing again, hearing Dinklebot with his terrible voice acting going on and on about some enemy that I've already faced 50 times. And then I don't even get to choose the Ascendant materials that I get. Like, I have so many Ascendant materials for my weapons, but I'm trying to, you know, get shards from my armor, but you don't even get to choose. You don't even get to, like, once you do the level 28 daily story, you don't even get to choose. They just randomly choose. All right, it's either going to be for your armor or for your weapons. And when you're trying to progress in a game and you're doing a mission that you don't even want to play to begin with, it's kind of frustrating just how much is left to the random number generator in terms of trying to get new loot, trying to get new armor, trying to get the materials needed to improve the armor that you have. Yep. And it just seems like there's so many mistakes that they made, and I feel now that Advanced Warfare is launched, there really isn't any going back. I definitely see the player population taking a steep decline, even with the new DLC coming in December. That's just me. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but it definitely seems like it could get pretty bad from here on out.
That's likely, yep. So I'm kind of the black sheep here. Well, I mean, no, I'm not playing Destiny. Well, I'm playing it right now, but like, the only reason why I'm not playing it on my own time is because, well, I'm busy reviewing Advanced Warfare right now. Master Chief Collection is coming out this Tuesday. I'm going to be playing that for a while. But I have been playing this game up until now. And I think that's primarily because, well, one, I do have actually have two different raid groups. So I do have guys that, like, I'll party up with regularly, and we'll, you know, do the raids and play Crucible, because I still do a lot of Crucible. Which, oddly enough, I mean, I stick by all the you know, all the things I said in my review about the Crucible, which weren't very nice about it. I definitely, they have a lot to improve there, but I have kind of, I don't know, have learned to dealt with it, and am enjoying it more, even though I would still tell you, like, nah, they still have so much to work on here.
Right.
Oh, look at this guy. Anyways, so yeah, I'm still playing it. I guess what I like about it so far is it's the first game that I can kind of play or easily swap between multiplayer and or like PvP multiplayer and PvE. Just day to day, it kind of there, to me, it seems like there is always something to do, which I like, but like you said, the daily missions could be a lot better. I think they could have used, like, new enemy types, but I kind of just see take this game, and I'm like, you know, I boot it up during the day, and I'd be like, okay, you know, I can't do the raid today because we already did it a couple days ago. Can't do it till next week, but, like, what can I do today to sort of make my Guardian at least a little bit better? I do like, you know, sort of progressing my character in any way I can.
I do see the potential in that approach in terms of the daily stuff. Like, okay, so I've done the daily mission. I don't have my raid group on tap, so I might as well switch to Crucible. Or you can, generally speaking, find something to do, whether it's the weekly heroic, something. But typically speaking, I've just gotten to the point now, whatever is available isn't all that interesting. I wish there was... Because the setup that they have is actually really good in terms of doing the daily stuff, in terms of doing the weekly stuff. It's just the daily and the weekly that they have there really isn't all that captivating into making the player want to come back. Unless you're really... I was initially invested in my character, but as time has progressed, I have just grown. So, even Vault of Glass, I don't consider it an accomplishment anymore. I just consider it...
Yeah, it's... Well... With all the cheesing going on these days, yeah, it's...
Yes.
They clearly they need to fix that. Ooh, what was I gonna say? One thing I think they really dropped the ball on were strikes. I thought that I would have been doing strikes a lot, you know, post rank 30.
Right.
But the issue is they're too challenging to warrant doing them over and over again, you know. So. One thing I really think
the Nightfall one or the regular one?
Even like the, you know, the strike playlists, like the Tiger, the Wolf, all those playlists.
Okay.
Yeah, they could have they should have simply added at least like 5 or more strikes that are only exclusive to endgame. You know, so like you said, there aren't things you're doing over and over again, or even within that, you know, change enemies up per different strike or something. I don't know.
It would be nice it would be nice because we played it. We keep playing the same strikes over, and I mean, I think one time it was me and you and someone else, and we had played the same strike 3 times in a row, played a different one, and then went back to the strike that we played 3 times in a row, and it's ridiculous how they're just setting it up where it's just, you know, you have like 4 strikes in the game, and then PlayStation is getting 2 more strikes, which are exclusive to them for a whole year. Then
because it's the best system.
Yeah. That's another podcast.
Yeah, the extra pixel helps.
Bad boy.
I think one of the things that disappointed me, because we're talking about the monotony of the content, is we didn't touch on events. I honestly thought that due to the lack of content that was in the game, and we're talking about strikes, and we're talking about raids, and we're talking about story missions, and how repetitive they feel, I honestly thought the way I envisioned it in my head, and again, they're time limited. We're talking about the time limited events, so we're talking about like the Queen's Wrath, which happened towards the end of September, and then Iron Banner. I thought more so Queen's Wrath. I thought there was going to be like actual unique like missions to do.
Clearly not what people expected.
What it essentially boils down to is the Queen's Emissary, the NPC that's in the tower, is essentially the same. It's just a different NPC than the Bounty Keeper. So you're, instead of, you know, getting 20 headshots with any weapon, you're getting 20 headshots with a sniper rifle. Okay, that's supposed to make me, I don't know, make me want to come back and play some more. Like, I actually thought there was going to be, I was going to go back to the Reef. In particular, when I saw the Queen's Reef, did I say it right? I thought I was actually going to go back, because there's no missions there. Like, you go for the couple cutscenes, and I actually thought like there was going to be some unique content to kind of break up this monotony, and then, okay, tune in next month for the unique content, and they totally dropped the ball there. There's just, once I've seen what these quote-unquote events actually have, I don't really have, I've completely lost interest in this title.
Well, speaking of the Reef, it was when it was like 2 days before, I was thinking the same thing you were, Tom. I was thinking that we'd have a new location, the Reef. We'd go there, we'd get some story missions, and then that'd be it. And Dave was like, no, there's gonna be an NPC in the tower, and we were like, and I was like, okay, let's do a bet right now. And if I'm wrong, I'll dismantle all my exotics and all my legendaries. And I lost.
I saw that.
I dismantled everything. And dude, I was just... And it was one of those things where it was like, I didn't mind losing the bet. What I minded was the fact that I was wrong. Okay, because...
Like, your faith in Bungie was misplaced.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like... It was like, I expect Bungie, of all developers, to go out of their way to do something epic. You know, or do something extra for the gamers. And then, like, Destiny came out, and they started dropping the ball on, like, content, and then they were like, yeah, post-launch content and events are happening, it's gonna be so great, and the Queen's Wrath and Iron Banner are gonna be amazing, and then it was like, no.
It's like the story mission slightly modified, the Crucible slightly modified.
Thank you for putting Peter Dinklage as a narrator into Destiny. That is probably the only good decision that Bungie made at all.
I love Peter Dinklage, but I feel like his voice acting was
I'm not saying that his voice acting was good. I'm just saying at least it was the better things of Destiny. Okay?
All he did was just phone in his voice.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely.
They called him and they're like, "Hey, Dinklage, read these lines for us."
Phone in.
Basically, and the worst part is too, it's almost like he's almost like Guilty Spark from the Halo series, except he always had Guilty Spark always had this some sort of like he had this snarkiness to him. Like, he's like, I'm the smartest guy in the room, and it kind of played off with the master. What's that?
He had a personality.
Right, a slight personality. Yeah, he was just like, I'm the smartest, you know, I'm an AI, I'm the smartest thing here, and he always came off that way. And the way he played off with the Master Chief, absolutely, yeah, he had a little bit of personality, but Peter Dinklage's performance was so erratic and over the place. Like sometimes he's trying to play humor, sometimes he's trying to play serious. Like there's this one mission you go on Mars where, everything's
in the hive.
There just wasn't enough dialogue to flesh anything out in it. I think that's the problem. Like that's why we didn't know. Like what is he trying to, like what's his personality? Like we don't know because there just simply wasn't enough dialogue.
And they relied too much. We could go into how much content they're holding back at this point, but we could also talk about how they relied too much on those. I don't even know how to pronounce it. The grimoire cards or
grimoire. Yeah.
Yes, the whole concept of you need to have a computer and make an account and log into an account and read these text documents to further flesh out the canon. That is so lazy.
It's really too bad. Because there's some really amazing stuff in the grimoire that, if that was in this game, would just blow your mind. Like every week there are people going into the raid who have no idea why they're doing it. And if you read it, there's like some really interesting shit going on in that vault of glass. Like all this time manipulation stuff. A lot of the story is told through the weapons that you pick up, which that's pretty cool. But again, like how maybe a cutscene, maybe just some more accessible information.
Maybe some story, and not putting them on the fucking cards that you have to go on the internet for. I mean, the only time that you should be going onto the internet for lore is when like fan sites or wikis come up, like Halo. Like you should know at least the base premise of why you're even doing something.
Yeah.
Okay? The story in Destiny is, hey, you have a bunch of enemies. There's this thing called the Darkness, but we don't care about the Darkness or the Fallen or any of those guys. We only care about the Vex and the Black Garden, and that's it. And then once you beat that, it's just like, all right, got some enemies and some planets. Great job, Bundy. 10 out of 10. IGN.
I feel bad for the people who are actually kind of excited for the DLC, the upcoming DLC, but have no idea what the sort of Crota or who Crota is. Because they force you to go on those sites if you want to look it up.
Yeah. While we're talking about DLC, why don't we flesh that out a bit? Because I am excited for it. But again, it's because I do have a raid group, so we're all pretty pumped now that it's going to be our first time doing a raid together, where we have no idea what we're doing, so we're going to be like figuring it out as we go. Whereas, when this Vault of Glass raid popped up the first time, we weren't high enough level to do it, so we knew what we were getting into because we watched the YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I think having a group helps. What I think they really should have done, though, with the DLC was all they had to do was look at Skyrim. Skyrim has, for a single-player game, some of the best DLC I've seen, like, in the last generation, and that's because they introduced an entirely new area, like new, like, even dimensions or whatever. But, it was an entirely new area with some new monsters, new quests, specific to that area, and even I think materials. I don't know, but that's something Bungie could have easily done. Just open up an entirely new planet in the DLC, so we have a new place to explore. There'd be brand new enemies, and maybe there'd even be new materials that we'd have to collect for some of our weapons and stuff like that. So I think they really should have looked towards Skyrim for their upcoming DLC.
There's a huge amount of just untouched potential. Like that's the thing that bothers me the most about like the whole content, of not Bungie but of Destiny, is because like you have the Grimoire cards, right? And they tell a bunch of that lore, but you could take that lore, put it in the game, and then you could just explode that. Because if they're basing it off the whole solar system thing, and using all the planets and stuff like that, there's just so much potential that you could put in, and then they could make the planets bigger, they can make the story better, they could just do so much more with the game that would make it infinitely better, but it's just wasted potential on.
Yeah, I'm frustrated because they have me really hooked for this game. Like I'm totally looking forward to the DLC. I'm so looking forward to Destiny 2, but kind of like I said in my review, I think I'm excited. Like they sucked me in for the wrong reasons by cutting stuff, by teasing things, and then saying, oh, you know, it's coming later in DLC, but you're gonna have to pay more for it. But it's like you said, you know, I play this game and I see so much potential. It could have been the next Mass Effect for me, which I love, by the way. Like I love that series, in case nobody knows. But yeah, so it's like they have me hooked. They got me like right by the wallet for Destiny 2 and their DLC. But it's just maybe for the wrong reasons, or they went about it the wrong way, unfortunately.
You bought it for the promises, didn't you?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, actually. I guess the promises. So that's the future of Destiny. I forget what other... I'm going to take a quick look in the chat here to see what other questions I had for you guys. Pardon the pause in my amazing Crucible gameplay. I don't know, are you guys watching it?
Kada.
Oh, we were going to talk... No, but that's true. What does Destiny 2... need
score
to do
for Destiny.
Yeah, well, so why don't we talk about like what does Destiny 2 need to do first of all?
You mean out of box?
Have a story.
To get a 10 out of 10, what does Destiny 2 need to do? All right, so have a story.
Okay,
right.
It needs to have like Christopher Nolan fucking story. You know, where like everything is intertwined and everything makes sense, but it's super deep and you have to be at least like competent, okay, to connect all the dots, you know, just so it's like, oh, this and this go with this. That's crazy, man. You know, so
yeah.
It's got to be rich, okay, with content, story.
That's one thing the Grimoire cards. Yeah. One thing the Grimoire cards did well, which I think they should keep in Destiny 2, is that, you know, it really got the community together, and they're like, you know, throwing their theories in. And coming up with some pretty cool stuff about what do these sayings and little descriptions on these cards mean. The only problem is in Destiny that was like the only thing. So, and the same thing happened with, you know, Mass Effect. Again, I think they did it really well because they told a fantastic story, but there was still some stuff that the community had to like come together and scratch their heads and be like, what the hell did that mean? Like, what is this? And, you know, people are coming out with this really crazy conspiracy videos. So I'd love to see that for Destiny. So basically tell a good story, but still have like some mysterious background that people need to figure out.
If they do the Grimoire cards again, they need to rely on them.
I
want to see.
I don't think they are, and if they do, it's going to be integrated into the game. Like I'm 100% certain on that.
One thing I'd like to see is make the tower kind of more seamless. Right now, you feel slightly if you're not in a party, you're kind of, I guess, annexed from the rest of the players in a way, because there really isn't public voice chat supported at this point. Yeah. I know they've been discussing options for making it happen. Unfortunately, you know, past Bungie titles have been kind of breeding grounds for a lot of bigotry and hatred in terms of in-game chat, and they've had certain technologies to kind of overcome that. But I'd like to see them take a more open approach with the voice over IP. And I'd also like to see like an option to just return to the tower when I'm done with the mission or when I'm done with the match in Crucible, instead of going back to the main screen, selecting the tower, and then seeing another load screen. I mean, if I complete a bounty, I'd just like to be able to go in and cash it in real quick instead of seeing a couple extra load screens. So I'd like to see them make that whole process, if they're going to keep the concept of the tower and they're going to keep, you know, the player interactive hub there, I'd like to be able to get it, like, just go back to tower instead of having go back to main menu and then choosing my planet and choosing the tower, etc., etc. I like to see that to be a little more seamless.
I think what I really would have liked actually is kind of what Battlefield 4 did, and include a comma rose, because I kind of am one of those players, like, I do tend to game without a microphone often, unless I'm with a party. or unless I hear the guys that are in this lobby ahead of time and they seem like cool people. But normally by default I won't have my microphone. So, but I think what Destiny could have easily done is mapped way more informative commands or requests to the D-pad instead of, you know, dance or sit down.
Point.
Yeah, point, like, you know, there was so much more that they could have added to that, or maybe just, you know, hold down a button like in Battlefield on consoles, hold down just a button and then choose from a selection of commands. One really important one is after big battles in PvE is a lot of players, like, you know, they need to let people know that I gotta go get ammo. Like, hold on, guys, don't rush ahead, because people love rushing in strikes and missions. So something just saying like, hold on, guys, I need to get some ammo.
Right.
That would help, as well as like pointing out things in exploration. Like, a lot of people now were resorting to shooting people when we find a chest or some, you know, spin metal or something like that. We got to shoot the players just to let them know, hey, there's a chest here, right? So something like, yeah, like, hey, a chest is here in the Camaros would be perfect. So I'd really like to see that.
One I want to see is more interesting boss design, and not only design, but better AI for the bosses,
and less repetitive.
Right? Yeah, because right now, I mean, the boss AI, what you're pretty much going up against is either a larger version of the enemy you face, or a slightly different model of the whatever species they're a part of, and they shoot a beam of light from their head, or their pelvis, or their stomach, or their crotch, wherever it's from. And it's really, you know, you kind of, the way they move around is very similar to how the goblins move around, which are the grunt characters for the Vex. They kind of move towards you, but they move slightly horizontal, and yeah, they do more damage, but they're so easy to evade. There really isn't any need to coordinate with any of the players in your party. Or if you're playing solo, it's just a very easy challenge. Go behind a wall, wait till that beam stops emitting from his crotch, and then go back around the corner and start popping a few shots. So they really need to go back and kind of really include some really more interesting bosses that require a little bit. It doesn't have to be every single one. If they want to do the whole giant enemy version of enemies you've been fighting for hours, occasionally go ahead, but I definitely would like to see some unique bosses to kind of, you know, if I'm doing the daily unique missions, be like, oh, I'm gonna go face this guy. That's, you know, okay, I know what strategies I got to do for this guy. There really isn't anything for the dailies right now, so I'd really like to see more interesting boss battles. They definitely need to have those in the next version.
What about PvP? Unless there's something else you guys wanted to add to PvE, but let's talk quickly about PvP.
I need
just
more.
really quick. There needs to be character.
Oh, okay.
Cap. Peter Dinklage needs to not suck.
Right.
That's all.
Cool.
You should just kill off his character, I think.
Kill his gold.
He's done enough damage at this point. He doesn't deserve a second chance.
Yeah. Well, like I was saying earlier, I kind of see what Bungie was trying to do with the PvP, but like I said in the review, I think there's just, players are too powerful. Like, not only we can carry a primary, our secondary is basically a primary, because it's either a shotgun or a sniper rifle or something super powerful like a what are they called, fusion rifles, and then on top of that we can pick up heavy ammo. And mind you, yeah, you still kind of like Halo, you still have to, there are drops, right? There are the ammo drops, but like you pretty much always have secondary or special ammunition, I should say. You pretty much always have it. So it's really hard to tackle situations because you don't know what the enemy has. Like, he's got an assault rifle. What's his secondary? Is it a shotgun or is it a sniper rifle? You know, you don't really know. And then on top of all that, of course, there are some basic special abilities that are just insane. Like the Titans, they have a one-hit kill melee ability. I don't remember what it's called because I don't play as them. That drives me nuts. And then on top of that, of course, there are the supers. And having
the rogue or whatever it's called, the hunter.
Yeah, right. I mean,
super on that is God. It's just
so
dancer.
Blade
Dancer, and yeah, I think even the golden gun. Actually, I mean, but yeah, the Blade Dancer is the one when somebody pops that in front of me. As a warlock, who usually I primarily play as a Sunsinger. I'm playing Voidwalk right now just to get a bounty, but usually I just put my controller down. I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever, you win. Go ahead, take me now. Kill me now. But
what?
Do it. Kill me now. But
they just need to fix it. That's what they need to do. They need to not make it. They need to not make it fucking Halo Reach 2.0. All right, because that's what the multiplayer is. It's Halo Reach 2.0.
The stuff is there. They've got the basis down. I think abilities are fine, but maybe a playlist without supers. And then only having a primary with a secondary that's like something that's weaker, like a pistol or whatever. I'd be fine with that, I think.
I'd like to see some technical improvements. 60 frames per second would definitely be nice. Yeah, especially if they're going to get rid of the 360 and the PS3 versions for the second iteration. I would definitely like to see 60 frames per second. I'd almost expect it, to be honest. I'd definitely be disappointed if they couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a standard now. Battlefield is 60 on next gen. We got Halo. That's going to be 60.
And the other thing I like to see too is the connectivity. Considering I think this operates on dedicated servers, if I'm not mistaken. But between this game and Battlefield 4, in terms of reliability on dedicated servers, I mean, everybody clamors for them, and we chide titles like Call of Duty for still doing peer-to-peer, but really Battlefield 4 dropped the ball at launch, and Destiny is, I wouldn't say rock solid, but at times it is, but it's pretty erratic in my experience. I definitely have connectivity issues where I can't even, there's no gauge to see how well your connection is in a game, but meanwhile I'm lagging around, and then all of a sudden I get, one hit kill by a shotgun that there was a guy across the room. At least by my perspective, it looks like that. So they definitely need to iron the technical aspects out of it.
Yeah. I got to give them credit for actually consistently matching me up with guys in my area. A case in point, one of my raid groups was completely random. Like, some guy he saw my level and he asked me to do the raid with him, so I joined the group. I found out he's also from my same city. We grabbed some other guys just randomly. They were also from the same city. Two of the guys, believe it or not, live on the same street. And they've never met each other before.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they live on the same street, and we just picked them up randomly from the tower. And now we have a raid group. So, Destiny has that sort of very social potential. Like my friends list definitely has grown the most from this video game than in any other video game, like social, competitive, whatever, multiplayer video game I've ever played. I've made the most friends through Destiny, so I think that's a pretty, that's a testament right there to their social.
That's kind of fun because my PS4 friends list have definitely grown a lot doing raid groups and stuff. But on one hand, though, I know the people that I've played with who are they're not close to me in proximity. Like, I haven't had that same. Obviously, I mean, your situation, I feel, is like a very unique case where you're playing with people in the same block. But I haven't even gotten people on the East Coast. I've gotten a lot of people who are from other countries and things like that, or definitely West Coast. So
right.
In my situation, it's good to play them, but it definitely introduces an element of lag, particularly, especially when you don't want that when you're trying to complete the Vault of Glass or something like that.
Right.
But that's cool though. Same street. What are the
that's yeah, it's pretty weird. So I guess, I don't know, in my case they did a good job there, but I guess that's Destiny. That's what we want for Destiny 2. But yeah, once let's see here. Once the Master Chief Collection drops, I'm gonna drop Advanced Warfare for a bit, do some Halo until I'm satisfied with it. But I think I probably will go back to at least doing one thing per day in Destiny. I did start another character finally, and I still want to do the raid just because I do want I want the raid helmet for my character. I'm kind of what I call a faux level 30 because I have the 3 raid pieces and then an exotic helmet as opposed to having the actual raid helmet. So I don't have a full. I'm a faux 30. I want to be a true 30.
Is that what drives you to keep playing the raid? Is the loot? Well, obviously, like the guys on your street and stuff. But is it getting do you find the loot system rewarding enough for you?
Actually, yes, but I think that's only because I've been ridiculously lucky. I've done the raid I think 5 times, and 3 of those times I've gotten raid gear, which is a really good ratio compared to some other people who are just exactly. So I might be biased in that case because I've been really lucky.
You're not getting gifted. You're not getting fucking Chatter White every time.
Yeah, I've gotten that twice, but that's about it. I gotten some great weapons, like I got Atheon's Epilogue plus the Vision of Confluence, whatever. I'm using mostly exclusively the raid stuff now for just PvP and PvE stuff. I kind of have all my exotics aside. Don't do it, my friend. I'm gonna shotgun you. Nice.
See, that kind of touches on a point right there, though. The reliance on the random number generator. So you're enjoying yourself because you're getting the loot a lot easier than a lot of us other guys at this point. Yeah. So I think too much reliance on random number generator. They should do something to at least, even if it's an item drop or something, to help improve your chances to get the epic gear, the raid gear, the exotics. They definitely should do more so that it doesn't seem so rare for I want to say the vast majority of the population, but there definitely seems to be a vocal portion of the population that is not getting the gear that other people are getting.
I don't think it should be guaranteed since it's a once a week thing anyway.
Oh, sorry about that cut, guys. My mic messed up, but where we are now is Mr. Pikey, or Denny, has to leave us.
Peace out.
He's all right.
I love you guys. Just really quick, as soon as you guys get to Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, when you talk about that, I just want to let you know that Advanced Warfare is the best Call of Duty that has come out since the first Black Ops. And that's just my opinion on things.
All right. Thanks for that. Just kidding. No. That's okay. Fair enough. So that's one opinion on it. So yeah, we're gonna get into our Advanced Warfare impressions now. The game has we've had it for a week now, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 5 days. So far, it's really just James and I who have played it, right? All right.
All I've had is the YouTube experience at this point.
So, what's the big thing right now? The big thing is lag and connection issues. That's what a lot of people are talking about. Like, what's your experience been like, James? Do you get that lag or?
I do. I get it a lot. And it's it's not my connection either because I have pretty good download and upload speeds.
Okay.
And I mean, I just switched over to better internet, and here I'm thinking, oh wow, my stabilization and everything's gonna be way better.
Right.
I jump into Call of Duty, it's laggy.
And see, it's interesting because to me, like I'm internet. Actually, I don't know the speeds off the top of my head, but I've just pretty standard. It's high speed, but it's standard internet, and I haven't been having too many issues with it. I'm actually going to switch over to Call of Duty since we're on it right now. But I haven't been having too many issues with it. To me, some. Yes, I've had some. But to me, they're pretty rare. I actually feel like when it does work properly, I think this game probably has like the best feeling hit detection and hit notification.
Oh yeah.
And like the hitboxes are really tight this time too, so I actually feel like that kind of makes things a little harder. Like, I'm getting a couple shots that would have normally, I think, killed enemies in other Call of Duty games. I have to be a little more precise in this one, and that's, I think, attributed to a much better. I don't know what to call it. Like, can I call it netcode? I guess. Or I'll just say like the hit notification and the hit markers, like all that stuff is really tight. and I've been having a good experience with it so far. But yeah, I've seen some pretty bad videos of guys just laying into enemies and nothing happening, and then they turn around and get punched in the face, exo punched.
Yeah. I feel like the PC guys actually got well, not a fair shake, but at least a decent shake this time. At least the videos that I've been seeing with at least they get 90 frames per second. The textures seem kind of high. The install file is still a bit astronomical in terms of what's included, but what the gist that I kind of got, the videos from what I've seen with console players versus PC players, the way that they use the not the jetpack, the dash, what is that? The
Exo Boost.
The Exo Boost. When they're using the Exo Boost midair, I kind of almost get the way that they use the mouse and the keyboard and the precise aiming that they have with that.
Yeah.
It almost gives me a Tribes vibe, like the way people are able to kind of manipulate themselves midair, and then they can quickly track on, and you can still attach to enemies fairly quickly with the auto aim and stuff on consoles, but the precision and stuff that I've seen on with the PC version and just using mouse and keyboard, even with the mouse acceleration going, it's been pretty cool to see. And yeah, if I had a PC that actually ran that stuff at a relatively good frame rate, I would definitely pick it up for on the cheap, maybe $40, maybe $40. I'd have to wait for it to drop a little bit.
Yeah. I think they actually since you started sort of comparing it to another game, I think that's one thing interesting to talk about. Do you guys still feel like, because when this game was first introduced, everybody's like, oh, it's Titanfall, but I don't get that at all. Does not feel like Titanfall. What do you guys think? Or James?
No, it really doesn't. I mean, when you play it, it's still Call of Duty. It's even with the boost jump and added components and stuff, it's a Call of Duty game. I mean, it has the same exact feeling and everything. You just have a lot more to do now. I mean, with Titanfall, I played it on PC for a bit. It feels more MOBA and more I would almost say it feels like there's more teamwork going into it in a sense.
In a Titanfall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Especially compared to Call of Duty
Titans.
At least. So
yeah, Titanfall's always been the game. Call of Duty's always been the game you can kind of just play solo. Yeah, I think what I like Titanfall was a very forward momentum based when it came to how mobile the characters were, because you could wall run, jetpack. Whenever you could boost, you could only double jump forward. And what I really like about Call of Duty is you can double jump, get in the air, and then you can go any direction. And I think that's really cool. You can go backwards or side to side, as both in the air and on the ground.
I think one of the reasons why I don't actually feel like it's actually Titanfall is because I'll be honest, I don't think the maps are really designed for the double jumping.
Really? Okay.
The reason why I say that is because there's so many invisible walls everywhere. I don't know if you've
That's
noticed
true.
that.
Yeah, there are.
There's so many places where you're like, oh, I can get up there easily, and when you do, it's just an invisible wall knocks you back down, and it doesn't feel as open as you would expect it to be.
Try playing, classic mode, and you might see actually that how many places you can no longer gain access to.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah, that was interesting to me. I tried it and I was like, oh man, like this plays very differently.
Oh, rocking the MP First logo on the gun, nice.
Oh, you see that? Yeah.
How that customization screen almost that was crazy. I didn't want to interrupt you guys, but I was watching it. I'm like, holy crap! I feel like I could spend at least 20 minutes.
Oh man, if there's one thing this game did right, it's the customization. I think.
Yep.
I'll go through it after this, but yeah, I love the how you can customize your operator. Weapon customization is pretty good. There are a lot of weapons if you include all the different
the drops or
the drops and stuff like that. There's a ton. Ooh, I'm getting
how much of the customization? So you have the season pass already, right, or whatever they call it on Call of Duty?
I don't yet. I gotta pick it up still, actually.
Oh, okay.
I've just kind of been taking my time.
How much of the customization have you noticed is if any, because we were just talking about with Destiny and the DLC and stuff, how much of the content in terms of customization is locked behind the paywall that you've noticed?
Oh, in this game, none. The only thing that's locked behind the paywall right now is that at this moment is the Atlas Gorge map. That's the only thing. So everything is completely accessible without having to get that season pass right now.
Is that map a release or is there something?
It is. It is.
Oh, okay.
Of Pipeline from Call of Duty 4 Advanced Warfare.
Pipeline. Oh, I remember.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say was that there are a lot of weapon variations, but at a base level, I don't think there's nearly as many weapons in this game as other Call of Duty titles, and my issue is I don't like a lot of them. You know, I miss weapons like the Scar H and the M4. They obviously don't really, you know, those are older guns now that wouldn't fit in this game, but like the Bal 27, for example, I hate it. I hate generic-looking future weapons.
Isn't that the one everybody's going to right now?
That's the one that that one is clearly the best at the moment. I've been doing a lot better since I switched to the AK. I've been a big fan of the what was it called, the ARX 160, because it's got the best range out of all the assault rifles, and it's kind of like a 4-round burst, I think it is. But it's pretty difficult to use because you can't fully auto it. So compared to the BAL and this AK-12 that I'm using right now, it's not as effective, I'd say. That's one thing I've noticed.
Pretty good, like right now. What's your? Hold on, throw up your scoreboard real quick. What are the connect? Oh, you're in a fight. Wait till you're off a fight. Throw up your scoreboard real quick, because your connection looks pretty solid right now. Like, are you in green?
Ooh, look at that. We're all red.
You're all red?
Yeah, I think there's some sort of disconnect though. I don't think this is. Because that felt good. That was a good feeling match, and I don't think what I'm seeing here, everybody on red bar, is indicative of actually what's going on. So I don't know, you know.
See, that was one of the things when they made the switch from Halo 3 to Halo Reach, they adjusted the connections. So like what used to be a 2-bar red was still a 2-bar red, but they just listed it as a 3-bar yellow, and then so forth and so on. So they did little tweaks like that to kind of make it seem like you had a better connection than you did, but it was kind of, you know, the way people lagged around and stuff was pretty apparent. But yeah, this looks pretty solid from what I'm seeing.
I don't know. So yeah, what were we just talking about before? I was going to say something. Oh, we were talking about weapon balance. Yeah, I think I don't know if you get the same feeling, but I feel like the assault rifles are kind of the clearly dominant class in this game, and I don't think the nerfs they made to the sniper rifle were necessary, because I find it really hard to use now. And I'm just kind of like an average sniper. Like, I really like using sniper rifles, and you know, I've gotten kind of decent at them in Black Ops 2 and in Ghosts, and I'm no pro. So like the pros in this game can kind of handle it. They can handle this really crazy sway on the sniper rifle, but I can't. Like, I'm just having a really hard time with it, and in turn I don't really want to use them as much anymore.
One thing I will say is I like the change they did with the knifing system, where you can't just run around and knife the whole entire game. It's nice knowing that you can just sit there and shoot someone and not worry about someone coming up behind you and just slingshotting themselves right towards you with a knife.
Yeah.
But I mean, it does need improvements. I feel the hit marker on it or whatever isn't good enough, because there's been many times where I've tried to knife someone right in their face and they wouldn't die.
Yeah, it is a bit wonky. Hey, there are some pretty WTF moments with that melee attack, but
I do like it though.
It's a better alternative than having that insane lunge. What else? First impressions are also, what the hell is up with like dead bodies and prone enemies? Why do they? I don't know what other Call of Duties did differently, but I can't tell the difference in this game between them.
Oh, dead bodies and prone?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you notice that?
Yeah,
it's so frustrating, and
I've always had that issue though. I mean,
I haven't in other Call of Duty games. I did not, but this one I do all of a sudden, and I don't know why. Like, what did the other Call of Duty games do differently?
Being able to differentiate, like if they're dead or if they're just prone.
Yeah, I can't tell. So many times I've walked into a room and there's like a pile of dead bodies. At least I think they're all dead, and they're all alive. They're all just prone. And I notice like that's what people do now. They get on flags, like I'm gonna do right now, and because it's kind of you trick people and they're thinking, well, or you at least make them hesitate. Are they alive or are they dead? I don't know yet.
No, Jimmy, you played on PS4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about, so I was reading a little bit about the whole drop frames thing. So obviously the Xbox One plays at the lower resolution, but from what people have said, the frame rate is more consistent. Have you had any sort of like colossal dips in frame rate?
Are we talking about single or multi?
Oh, either.
Oh. I think I've only had it once in the single where I've just noticed some slowdowns. But nothing too much where it's like, oh,
yeah,
wow, this is broken.
Actually, from what I've read, is that's I think that's only affecting PlayStation users on the single player. I think for both consoles, it runs at a solid 60 in multiplayer. But yeah, of course the.
Oh, actually, no. When someone gets the kill streak for the missiles or whatever they are. That's when the frame rate drops.
Oh, really?
Like crazy, yeah.
I guess I can see that.
I just remember that drops. You're just on the map, and suddenly, what's going on?
Weird.
You look at your mini map, and there's bombs everywhere.
Yeah, and then the frames are just down. That's odd. Huh. Whoa, look at this guy. Yeah, I mean things have been pretty.
This is still looking pretty consistent from what I'm seeing. This
yeah, it is
pretty decent.
Like I said, I don't know.
For the most part, I don't have an issue with it, other than some of those games where it's just completely laggy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really optimistic because I think that is something they probably can improve. I mean, this is launch week, so. But I think once they get that sorted out, I think this is going to be the best, like feeling Call of Duty game, the best. You know, shooting people and getting shot. I think so far it's pretty fair to me at least. The one thing I'm really struggling to decide on in this game has to do with the exo abilities, and I think it's really cool that we have all these new mobility options to double jump and boost side to side and whatever. But my big issue with it is that I feel like it throws map flow and map control just totally out the window. And it's why I think we're always getting shot in the back.
Oh, gotcha.
You know, and on top of, I did notice that I think Sledgehammer really likes to spawn people close to objectives and enemies because they want us to get into the action really, really fast. But I think a lot of people now are saying that it's just too close. You know, and I've ran into plenty like unfair deaths and unfair kills, like spawning right behind an enemy that killed me, so I get that revenge spawn. But
So now that so this is Sledgehammer Games' second Call of Duty title, right?
Well, they contributed on Modern Warfare 3. That wasn't this is their first time doing it completely on their own.
Okay. Do you feel like they're like a worthy? Well, I mean that's over dramatic, but you know what I mean. Like worthy developer.
Well,
like, are they carrying the Call of Duty title well?
Yeah,
for their definitely doing new stuff that's making it feel fresh now compared to just the copy and repaste.
Like while I'm here, Tom, I'll quickly show you. So like you know, they kept the pick 10, right? Except now it's pick 13, so you can get rid of your score streaks. I thought about it last night. I decided, you know what? Score streaks are right now really underpowered in this game, so I'm going to get rid of them and just...
I'm okay with that. I like that.
It is fine, but I like it too because I'm actually thinking I'm going to stock up on just other stuff. But a no-brainer is this. The what's it called? The virtual firing range. Just being able to push the back button while you're messing around with loadouts. Oh, that's just such a no-brainer.
How long's the load screen on that?
Oh, it's instant. Like I'm in it all the time.
That's instant.
Oh shit, that's awesome. See, I remember Ghost Recon Advanced. I think it was Advanced Warfighter was trying to do something like this, and it just kind of their implementation wasn't.
I remember that. Yeah, that's true. Oh, another thing awesome. That Battlefield, I think, can learn from is that these dummies here have exact player health. So, you know, let's see if
you can eliminate like one of the targets, like so like it's 100% health of what a normal player would, or something like that.
So, for example, like this gun takes one headshot bursts. It looks like, and then now this I don't know how well synced up my microphone is to the gameplay, but this guy up close here, I shoot him in the body. Okay, it is a 2-shot body kill every time, but at least I know, like I can figure that out anytime I select a new weapon. So I think that's just an amazing no-brainer. One thing I missed though is like, you know, they took all this stuff from Black Ops 2, but I feel like they forgot about I really like the weapon leveling system. How you unlocked your weapons and it carried through your prestige, but you could prestige weapons. I really like that in Black Ops 2, and I think this would have done well in this game.
So do you lose everything when you prestige, or how's that?
Well, I think it's something they're looking into and they're going to fix, but the way it works now is everything you've unlocked, like camos for your weapons, you keep, but anything that you're like halfway through in terms of progression, that resets, which is kind of, it sucks because there are some pretty crazy requirements, like 500 headshots to get a certain camo. And that's like, what? That's too much. You can't do that pretty much in one prestige unless you're only using that weapon the entire time, and also really good at getting headshots. So what's the weakest class, or what weakest main weapon, I guess? So you said assault rifle is the most overpowered. You said sniper rifle got getting pretty good. What about like SMGs and like the single shot rifles? SMGs are good, but you do have to get up close, which makes them, you know, harder to use, I think. But I think a lot of people are kind of ignoring these heavy weapons and saying that, like, you know, the EM1 is... I haven't experimented too much myself, so I can't really say, but that's what I'm hearing.
The weakest weapon is the is the EM1 the laser?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, you know what frustrated me the most was this MK14, because that requires 3 headshots to kill somebody with. That is impossible. Have you
used the laser yet, David?
A little bit, just a tad.
Oh, it's so satisfying getting kills because it sounds like you're shooting bug zappers at people or something.
If you were a camper, what gear would you have? Get the most camperish gear right now. I want to just camp it out.
Well, I'd probably pick up the BAL.
Yeah. The BAL?
The BAL or the AK.
Bro.
Yeah, the BAL.
So it's a pretty universal weapon then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the AK though.
Yeah, that's my favorite so far. Yeah, like I said, I really like using this. I like using the sniper rifle, but I have a hard time with it. I got to get better. And even I really like the burst fire. Funny, assault rifles in this game have absolutely zero sway. Assault rifles in this game have absolutely zero sway, but and barely any recoil, so they're all laser beam guns. But the funny thing is I almost find it harder to shoot people because sometimes I rely on the recoil to, you know, help me out, like, and even the sway sometimes. So I don't know. You got to be really accurate with them, but still, I think they're definitely the most powerful weapons in this game. Yeah, I don't know. What else? Yeah, I really like customization. I think they did a great job here.
I think the one thing that does annoy me is those temporarily armory stuff.
Oh, and how often you get them, like the bloodshed helmet.
Yeah, you get
as you can see right there.
I mean, it bugs me because some of that stuff I do want to keep.
Right.
And you just don't get it for a while.
One thing I noticed last night, I didn't know this before, but you actually gain certain equipment. You can unlock certain equipment through just the challenges. I actually didn't know that. And there's some pretty cool stuff in there. And that stuff's permanent, which is nice.
Domination. Feel the customization is better than Destiny.
Yeah.
I really like some of the armor stuff that you can unlock. It's a neat look.
Ooh, one thing it kind of feels like they ripped from Destiny, but it's totally a good thing, is how every weapon has a very different characteristic to it. Like, you know, not only are there weapon stats now, but there also are different characteristics. Like the first 3 bullets in a burst fire faster than the rest, for example, or do more damage or something like that, or the recoil stabilizes over time as you fire. And I think that's really cool because it makes every weapon, sort of specialized, which is, I think, another reason why they don't have as many. So to me, I don't know, that's a really good thing. I kind of do hope that carries over into other Call of Duties. I don't know, what do you guys think about the whole mobility thing and carrying into other Call of Duty? Should it only stick to like this one Advanced Warfare sub-series, or should it be in every Call of Duty now?
Oh, you mean like the Exo Boost and stuff?
The
like
Exo Boost, yeah.
It depends on what setting they're going to be in. Like,
Yeah,
it depends if they're going to be if they're going to be sticking with advanced, the futuristic setting. It's definitely a keeper. But whatever they're planning on doing, they should if they're going to go old school, like let's say they go back to the World War II setting, which I don't think they're going to do quite yet. But maybe somebody decides to tackle the Vietnam era because of, these next gen consoles. Maybe they can handle the foliage a little bit better.
Yeah,
they
I would love to see that.
They definitely should have some sort of. They should focus on movement a little bit, because you can't just completely remove it from the equation and expect players to go, okay, yeah, this is great. I love playing this this version of Call of Duty over the previous one. Obviously, you've opened up a can of worms. So if it's going to stay in an advanced setting, they definitely should keep it. But they can't just make it the same as it was with Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, all those titles. If they're going to go backwards, I guess they definitely need to introduce a new element, a new movement element of something. I don't know what it is. Maybe choppers. You can fly choppers or something. I don't know what it is. But if they go backwards, but if they keep going with the advanced setting, they definitely should keep this whole Exo Boost thing.
I missed the peek and lean from Call of Duty Ghosts. I really like that. Is that for the peek and lean?
No, just Ghost in general.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Call of Duty. Well, I haven't bought a Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. So you guys are gonna have to enlighten me on all this stuff.
With Ghost, when I bought it, I was expecting Advanced Warfare level. Like, I thought it was gonna be the game changer and be the game Call of Duty to finally break away. And then when I played it, I'm like, this is worse. This is the worst game I've ever played. Worst Call of Duty game.
I actually liked it more and more over time. Like, I didn't give it a good review, and I totally stand by what I gave it and all that stuff. But once the DLC started coming out, I think it totally fixed the biggest problem I had with that game, which were the map layouts. And they also finally buffed the SMGs, and I thought that really changed things up. Which is, I think, kind of maybe exactly what this game needs right now. Maybe a little SMG buff, but I actually like that game more and more over time. And now that there's all this exo boosting stuff, there are small elements of Ghost that I do miss.
You miss stuff from everybody hates Ghost. You can't miss anything.
I know that's a very unpopular opinion, but there are a couple things I think. I like one thing they did without, and I understand why, but for example, when you aim down a sniper scope, in Ghost they had the whole dual rendering thing, so only your scope would magnify, whereas your peripheral vision was just normal.
Right.
In this game they did without it, but they just blurred the peripheral vision, but that's obviously very likely to keep the frame rate up, because Ghost did have a problem with that when you would aim down sights for Wow, I'm having a heck of a time here. I don't even want... Ooh, 6 and 14. Yeah.
And what is this, domination?
Yeah, just plain old domination.
I'm actually going to boot it up right now, too.
Cool. But, yeah, I mean, so I think to sort of round up our thoughts, it sounds like Advanced Warfare just has some very clear but simple issues that can be fixed. And once they are, yeah, this is probably going to be one of the most solid Call of Duty titles to date. That's sort of my general impressions. My review will be up soon. Probably this podcast might be up before my review, so you guys are, I guess, kind of getting a sneak peek into my thoughts on it, I guess. A 4 or a 5 out of. I'm not gonna hint at my review. I'm actually gonna leave this game because I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Sorry, guys, but yeah, I'm not gonna hint at the score. I'll give it. That'll be a nice surprise. Cool, guys. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time on another edition of MP Talk.